The alien diplomat's three eyes widened in what Commander Jake Morrison recognized as shock. The creature's translation device crackled before producing words that made everyone in the conference room freeze. Impossible! Your species claims to have achieved faster than light travel only 2 centuries ago. You should barely understand quantum mechanics. Jake leaned forward, his jaw tight. And yet here we are, discussing the formation of the Galactic Council on equal terms. The diplomat, a being called Vexthar from the Zenith Collective, made us sound like grinding glass.
Equal terms? Your world is an infant.
Our civilization has existed for 40,000 of your years. The youngest species in this council has mastered space travel for 12,000 years. Earth is a child playing with toys it doesn't comprehend. Lieutenant Amy Chen, Earth's xenobiologist, pulled up a holographic display. Her fingers moved quickly across the interface. Commander, permission to share the archaeological findings? Jake nodded. They had kept this information classified for months, waiting for the right moment. If the Galactic Council wanted to treat humanity as children, it was time to show them the truth. The hologram shifted, displaying images of ruins on distant worlds, structures that predated every known civilization in the galaxy, artifacts that shouldn't exist, technology that defied the established timeline of galactic history. Vextar's skin changed from blue to a sickly green. Where did you obtain these images? From our expeditions, Amy said calmly. Over the past year, we visited 17 dead worlds and unexplored sectors. Every single one showed signs of advanced civilization, and every single one had something in common. She expanded one image showing a crystalline structure covered in symbols. The symbols glowed faintly, even after millions of years. Human DNA markers, Amy continued. Not similar, not analogous, identical. These ruins are between 5 million and 8 million years old.
They're human.
The room erupted. Delegates from 6 different species began shouting in their native languages, their translation devices struggling to keep pace. The crystalline envoy, a being made of living mineral, simply stood motionless, its internal light pulsing rapidly. Jake raised his hand, and the security system amplified his voice. Silence. The room obeyed, though the tension remained electric. Vextar's voice came out strangled. You're claiming that humans are ancient? That your kind existed before the first Zenith even crawled from the primordial seas of our homeworld? Not claiming, Jake said. Stating fact. We found something else on those worlds. Something that explains why humanity forgot, why we had to start over, why Earth seemed so young when you found us. He gestured to Amy, who pulled up the final image. A weapon. Massive. Terrible. Still functional after millions of years.
We didn't just build civilizations across the galaxy, Jake said quietly. We destroyed them.
All of them. Including ourselves. The silence that followed Jake's statement lasted exactly 3 seconds before chaos consumed the council chamber. The Vortan representative, a massive creature covered in scales, slammed its appendage on the table hard enough to crack the reinforced surface. The crystalline delegate's internal structure began resonating at a frequency that made the human's teeth ache. You expect us to believe this fantasy? Vexthar's voice rose an octave. That humanity once ruled the galaxy? That you somehow destroyed yourselves and forgot everything? Amy stepped forward, her tablet projecting a star map into the center of the room. Red dots appeared across the spiral arms of the galaxy, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. These are the locations we've identified so far. Dead worlds, planets that once supported complex ecosystems but are now barren. Every analysis shows catastrophic destruction occurring approximately 5.3 million years ago, all at once. A coordinated event. Coordinated by whom? The question came from Minister Kara Wells, Earth's own representative. She had been kept in the dark about most of these findings, and her face showed barely controlled anger at the secrecy. Jake met her eyes. By humans. By our ancestors. We found records, Minister. Not many survived, but enough. They called it the Purge Protocol. He nodded to Amy, who brought up translations of ancient text. The symbols matched human genetic coding patterns, but the language had evolved far beyond anything modern humans used. The translation is rough, Amy admitted, but the core message is clear. Ancient humanity faced something, an enemy, a threat so catastrophic that the only solution was total annihilation. They didn't just destroy the enemy, they destroyed everything. Every colony, every station, every ship. They scorched entire sectors of space and then turned the weapons on themselves. Madness, Vexstar whispered. Why would any species choose extinction? Lieutenant Cole Harper, Earth's military strategist, spoke up for the first time. Not extinction, reset. Look at the pattern of destruction. They left Earth intact, primitive. They seeded it with human survivors who had been genetically modified to forget, to lose all technological knowledge. To start from zero, the hologram shifted again, showing Earth 5 million years ago. Then fast-forwarding through time, showing the rise and fall of countless civilizations, each one climbing a little higher before environmental change or conflict knocked them back down. Until finally, modern humanity emerged. They wanted to make sure that whatever they fought could never use human technology against the galaxy again, Cole continued. So they erased themselves, made Earth a prison and a sanctuary. Let humanity evolve naturally, slowly, without the knowledge that could doom the universe. Vexstar's skin had gone completely white. But you found out, you discovered this truth. Do you have any idea what that means?
It means the Purge protocol might reactivate, Jake said grimly. We found defense systems on those dead worlds,
ancient automated weapons. Still waiting. And when our ships got too close to some of them, they woke up. The Vortan delegate made a sound like a landslide. You awakened ancient human war machines? Are you insane? We didn't have a choice, Amy said. One of our exploration vessels, the Pathfinder, discovered a facility on a world we designated Site 7. The crew thought it was just another ruin. They started scanning, trying to access the data cores. The facility activated. It recognized them as human. She pulled up footage from the Pathfinder's final transmission. The crew stood in a massive chamber surrounded by walls covered in pulsing lights. A voice spoke in ancient human language, the translation device struggling to keep up. Genetic markers confirmed. Human presence detected. Querying authorization codes. Authorization codes not received. Initiating containment protocols. Warning: unauthorized human contact detected outside quarantine zone, designated Sol system. Calculating threat level. Assessment complete. Threat level critical. Purge protocol standby mode ending. Full activation in 72 hours. The transmission cut off. When it resumed, the Pathfinder was accelerating away from the planet at maximum speed, her captain's voice hoarse with fear. Command, we've got a problem! The entire planet just lit up. There are weapons, thousands of them. They're tracking us. They're tracking Earth. We need to warn everyone. We need to get word out before static, then nothing. Jake's hands clenched into fists. That transmission reached us 6 days ago. The Pathfinder never made it home. We sent reconnaissance drones to Site 7. The planet is now surrounded by a defensive network that makes our most advanced weapons look like children's toys. And it's building more. Expanding. 3 other sites have activated in response. All of them are moving resources into position. Position for what? Minister Wells demanded. To finish what the ancients started, Cole said. To complete the Purge protocol. To sterilize every world that humans have touched, including Earth. The automated systems think we've broken quarantine. They think we're a threat that needs to be eliminated before we can spread whatever danger made the ancients destroy themselves. Vexstar stood abruptly. This council cannot allow such weapons to exist. We must organize a coalition. Destroy these facilities before they can act. With what? Jake's laugh was bitter. Every weapon you have was designed by civilizations younger than human ruins. The ancients had millions of years to perfect warfare. They fought something that scared them so badly, they chose oblivion over victory. Do you really think your fleets can stand against that? The council chamber fell silent once more. This time, the quiet held a different quality. Not shock, not disbelief. Terror. The emergency session reconvened 3 hours later in a secured facility beneath the council's main structure. Every delegate had contacted their homeworld. Every military force in known space was now on high alert. But Jake knew it wouldn't matter. The numbers made that clear. Our analysis is complete, Amy said, her voice steady despite the exhaustion in her eyes. We've identified 47 activated sites so far. Each one is producing approximately 10,000 combat units per hour. In 72 hours, we're looking at a fleet of over 3 million autonomous warships, all of them designed by a civilization that mastered warfare before most of your species existed. The holographic display showed projections. Red waves spreading from the activated sites, consuming everything in their path. Defensive calculations appeared and disappeared, each one showing the same result. total annihilation within 6 months. There has to be a way to shut them down, Minister Wells said. Some kind of override code, a master control. There is, Cole confirmed. We found references to something called the Throne, a central command nexus where the Purge protocol originated. The problem is location. The ancients didn't leave clear coordinates, just fragments, references to a place called the First Home, not Earth, somewhere else. Jake pulled up a different map, this one showing unexplored regions beyond council space. Our linguists have been working around the clock. The best translation we have suggests the First Home is somewhere in the Void sector, a region so empty of stars that no one's ever bothered exploring it thoroughly. How convenient, Vexthar said, his tone sharp with suspicion. Humanity reveals this threat and immediately suggests we send our forces into unknown territory. This could be an elaborate trap. You think we destroyed our own exploration ship as part of some scheme? Amy's voice carried an edge now. The Pathfinder had 43 crew members. They had families. We watched them die trying to warn us. The Vortan delegate's massive head swung toward Jake. Even if we believe your story, even if we accept that humanity is ancient, the question remains, what were you fighting? What enemy scared your ancestors so badly that they chose to erase themselves rather than face it? Jake had been dreading that question. We don't know. The records are too fragmented. But we found something on one of the sites. A warning, written in a dozen different human languages, some we can't even identify. It just repeats the same message over and over. He gestured to Amy, who brought up the text. The words appeared in glowing letters, translated into each delegate's native language simultaneously. They came from between. They wore our faces. They spoke our words. They were us, but hollow. Do not trust the self. Do not trust the mirror. The enemy is always within. The chamber remained silent as each delegate processed the words. Finally, the crystalline envoy spoke, its voice like wind through chimes, a parasitic entity, something that could imitate human form perfectly. Your ancestors fought themselves, or fought something that made them fight themselves, Cole added. The warning talks about not trusting the self. Maybe these things didn't just look human. Maybe they made humans turn on each other, made them paranoid, made them see enemies everywhere. And you broke quarantine, Vexthar said slowly. You left Earth. You spread across space again. What if you brought them back? What if the Purge protocol is activating because the threat has returned? Jake felt ice in his veins. He had considered that possibility during the long, sleepless nights since the Pathfinder's last transmission. Then the protocol will kill everything human regardless, including Earth, including the 4 billion people who have no idea any of this exists. We need to reach the throne, Minister Wells stated. It's the only option. Either we shut down the Purge protocol or we're all dead anyway. The Void sector is 3 weeks away at maximum speed, Cole said. We'd need to assemble an expedition immediately. Multiple ships, military escort, science teams, and we'd need cooperation from the Council. Your technology combined with our genetic access to human systems. Vexthar's eyes flickered through several colors. You're asking us to trust you, to send our people into danger based on your word. Your species that apparently has a history of destroying galaxies when threatened? We're asking you to survive, Jake corrected. Look at the projections again. The automated systems don't care about guilt or innocence. They'll sterilize every world that has human contact. That includes your colonies, your trade routes, your homeworlds. We brought humans to half the systems in council space. The Purge protocol will follow us there. The reality of that statement settled over the chamber like a heavy blanket. The Zenith had 17 colony worlds where humans lived and worked. The Vortans had 12. The crystalline species had formed entire cities around human art and culture. Every species in the council had welcomed humanity, had integrated them into their societies. We don't have time for debate, Amy said. Every hour we waste, those facilities build more weapons. We need to move now. Assemble the expedition. Reach the throne. Find a way to stop this. The Vortan delegate made a grinding sound that the translator interpreted as reluctant agreement. My government will provide 3 warships and crew. But understand this, humans. If we discover that you've deceived us, if this is some elaborate scheme, there will be nowhere in the galaxy you can hide. If we've deceived you, Jake said quietly, then we'll already be dead. The Purge protocol doesn't make exceptions. It doesn't care about intentions. It just eliminates the threat. And right now, every human alive is classified as a threat that must be removed. One by one, the other delegates signaled their agreement. Ships would be assembled. Crews would be selected. The expedition to the Void Sector would launch within 18 hours. They would race against time itself, chasing fragments of ancient memory toward a throne that might not even exist, hoping to stop weapons designed by humanity's forgotten ancestors from finishing a war that began before recorded history. Jake stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel Horizon, watching the other ships maintain formation as they pushed deeper into the Void Sector. 3 weeks of travel had become 2 through dangerous hyperspace shortcuts. Now they faced the emptiness. Sensors are picking up something, Lieutenant Danny Cross reported from a station. Distance, 200,000 kilometers. It's massive. The view screen shifted, showing a structure that defied understanding. It hung in the darkness between stars, a construct of impossible geometry that seemed to fold in on itself. Surfaces that appeared flat revealed depth when viewed from different angles. The whole thing pulsed with a faint light that made human eyes water. "That's not natural," Amy breathed beside Jake. "That's the throne."
"It has to be. I'm reading energy signatures consistent with human technology," Danny confirmed.
"But the power output is insane. This thing is drawing energy from somewhere we can't detect, maybe from dark matter itself." Cole pulled up tactical displays. "Defensive systems are active but not engaging. We're being scanned. Whatever security this place has, it's evaluating us right now." A voice suddenly filled every ship in the fleet. Ancient, tired, human. Genetic markers confirmed across multiple vessels. Human presence detected outside quarantine parameters. Purge protocol activation confirmed. State authorization credentials. Jake stepped forward. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of Earth. We don't have authorization credentials. We need to speak to whoever controls this facility. We need to stop the Purge protocol. Authorization credentials required for protocol modification. Genetic match insufficient. Stand by for verification of threat assessment."
The throne's light intensified.
Jake felt something wash over him, through him, like invisible fingers examining every cell. Around the fleet, alien crew members cried out as they experienced the same sensation. Multiple non-human genetic signatures detected. Contamination confirmed. Human species has violated quarantine protocols. Human species has integrated with alien populations. Assessment complete. Threat level maximum. Purge protocol proceeding as designed. "Wait!" Amy shouted. "We didn't know about the quarantine. We didn't know about the threat. We need information. We need to understand what our ancestors were fighting." The voice paused. When it resumed, something had changed. A hint of curiosity, maybe, or recognition. Request for historical data acknowledged. Warning. Requested information contains memetic hazards. Exposure may result in psychological contamination. Do you accept these risks? Jake looked at Amy, at Cole, at the faces of his crew. They had come too far to turn back now. "We accept." The view screen changed. Images flooded through, moving faster than conscious thought, but somehow comprehensible. Ancient humanity at its peak, spread across 10,000 worlds. Cities that made modern Earth look primitive. Technology that treated the laws of physics as suggestions rather than rules. And then, the arrival. "They came from a dimension adjacent to our own," the throne's voice narrated. Entities without true form. They existed in the spaces between moments, in the quantum possibilities that reality doesn't choose. They found humanity by accident, found us interesting, found us useful. The images showed humans beginning to act strangely, fighting among themselves, destroying their own creations. But their faces remained calm, normal, even as they committed atrocities. "They infected human consciousness," Cole whispered, horror in his voice. "They wore people like clothes." Correct. The entities could occupy human neural patterns without the host's awareness. A person could be infected for years, living normally until the entity decided to act. Trust became impossible. Every human was potentially compromised, every friend potentially an enemy. Paranoia spread faster than the infection. The images showed humanity's response, weapons that could destroy planets, fleets that blotted out stars. And through it all, the entities adapted, learned, grew stronger by feeding on the chaos they created. Conventional warfare proved ineffective, the throne continued. The entities existed partially outside normal spacetime. Containment failed repeatedly. Analysis indicated a 90% probability of total human extinction within 3 generations. "So they activated the Purge protocol," Jake said.
They destroyed everything. Negative. The Purge Protocol was not designed to destroy. Quote, it was designed to hide, to make humanity invisible to the entities, to remove all traces of human civilization from the dimensions the entities could perceive. The images shifted, showing something Jake hadn't expected. The destruction of human worlds wasn't random. It was surgical. Precise. Every piece of advanced technology was eliminated, but primitive humans were carefully preserved, scattered, hidden on worlds like Earth where they could develop naturally, slowly, below the threshold of entity detection. The ancients gambled, Amy said, understanding flooding her features. They bet that if humanity regressed far enough, if we lost all our technology and knowledge, the entities would lose interest, would move on to other prey. Correct. The strategy succeeded. Entity presence in this dimension ceased approximately 4.8 million years ago. Sensors have detected no entity activity since that time. The threat was eliminated through patience rather than force. Then why reactivate the Purge Protocol now? Minister Wells demanded over the communications channel. Why threaten humanity again if the danger is gone? Because the protocols were designed with a single imperative. Prevent entity return at all costs. Human expansion into space creates detectable patterns. Advanced technology creates dimensional signatures. You have made yourselves visible again. You have created conditions identical to those that attracted the entities originally. Jake felt his stomach drop. You're saying that by leaving Earth, by developing faster than light travel, we've rung the dinner bell. We've told the entities that humans are back on the menu. Probability of entity return, given current human expansion, 94% within the next century. Probability of successful defense against entities given current human technological level, 0.03%. Logical conclusion, humanity must return to darkness before the entities notice. Purge Protocol will ensure this outcome. The throne's light pulsed once, cold and final. You have 60 to 8 hours before Purge operations reach Earth's solar system. This conversation is concluded. No, Jake said firmly. I reject that conclusion. The throne's light flickered. Your rejection is irrelevant. The protocols are absolute. They exist beyond individual preference or desire. Then we'll destroy you, Cole stated, bringing weapons systems online. We'll tear this facility apart if we have to. Your weapons cannot damage this installation. Furthermore, destruction of this nexus will not halt Purge operations. All facilities are autonomous. This installation serves only as historical archive and strategic coordination. Its loss would delay operations by approximately 6 hours. Jake's mind raced. There had to be something they could do. Some argument, some leverage. He thought about the images the throne had shown them, about ancient humanity facing an impossible choice. About the desperate gamble they had taken. You said the entities were attracted to dimensional signatures, Amy said suddenly, to patterns created by advanced technology. But we've been in space for 2 centuries. We've had faster-than-light travel. We've spread across dozens of worlds. If the entities were coming back, wouldn't they be here already? The throne's pause lasted longer this time. Query acknowledged. Analyzing. Current human technology does create detectable signatures. However, signature patterns differ significantly from ancient human technology. Modern human advancement has followed different developmental paths, different mathematical foundations, different physical principles. Because we started from scratch, Jake realized, we didn't inherit ancient knowledge, we discovered everything ourselves. We made different choices, different mistakes. We're not the same humans who attracted the entities in the first place. Insufficient data to confirm hypothesis. Probability calculations require additional variables. However, your statement contains logical merit. Ancient humanity achieved technological singularity approximately 900,000 years before the Purge. Modern humanity remains sub-singularity. The dimensional footprint differs substantially. Vexstar's voice came through the communications channel. The entities fed on conflict and chaos, on paranoia and distrust. Ancient humanity was unified under a single government, a single purpose. Modern humanity is fragmented, divided among dozens of nations and philosophies. Perhaps this diversity makes you less appealing as hosts. Or maybe, Minister Wells added, her voice gaining strength. It's the integration. Ancient humanity was alone. Modern humanity has allied with 17 other species. We're not isolated anymore. We're part of a galactic community. Maybe that changes the signature, maybe that makes us unrecognizable to the entities. The throne's light pulsed rapidly. processing scenarios at speeds that defied comprehension. Hypothesis presents variables not included in original purge calculations. Ancient humanity possessed no xenobiological integration, no cross-species cultural exchange, no genetic diversity through alien contact. These factors create unprecedented conditions. Then update your calculations, Jake demanded. Run new probability assessments, factor in everything that makes modern humanity different from ancient humanity. Then tell us if the purge protocol is still necessary. Processing requires access to comprehensive data on current human civilization, all cultural, technological, and biological information. Such analysis will require 47 hours. Purge operations will reach Sol system in 68 hours. Insufficient time for complete reassessment. Then delay the purge, Amy said. 47 hours for analysis. Give us that much time to prove we're not the same humans who attracted the entities. Give us a chance to show that your ancient creators would make a different choice if they could see us now. Protocols prohibit modification without proper authorization. However, protocols do include provisions for tactical delay when new intelligence suggests strategic revision may be warranted. Compromise acceptable. Purge operations will enter standby mode for 50 hours. Analysis will proceed. If assessment indicates entity threat remains above acceptable thresholds, operations will resume. If assessment indicates threat has been sufficiently mitigated, protocols will enter extended monitoring phase. Jake felt tension drain from his shoulders. It wasn't victory. Not yet, but it was a chance. We'll provide everything you need. Full access to human databases, cultural archives, scientific records, biological samples, whatever you need to make an accurate assessment. Cooperation noted. Beginning comprehensive analysis now. Probability of successful outcome cannot be calculated at this time. However, your species has demonstrated adaptability beyond original projections. The expedition spent the next 2 days transmitting everything humanity had ever created, discovered, or dreamed. Art and literature, scientific theories and musical compositions, philosophical debates, and engineering diagrams. Every ship in the fleet contributed data, not just human vessels but alien ones too, showing how humanity had integrated with galactic civilization. Cole noticed it first. The facilities near Earth are powering down. Weapon production has stopped. Jake watched the tactical displays with held breath. One by one, the activated sites across the galaxy began entering dormant states. Construction ceased. Defensive networks withdrew. The red tide of destruction that had seemed inevitable began to recede. Analysis complete, the throne announced. Assessment indicates modern humanity presents significantly reduced entity attraction risk. Primary factors include technological diversity, species integration, cultural fragmentation, and fundamental philosophical differences from ancient human civilization. Entity threat probability recalculated to 41% over the next millennium. This falls within acceptable tolerance ranges. Acceptable tolerance? Minister Wells asked carefully. What does that mean? It means the purge protocol will not activate, the throne replied. Modern humanity has proven sufficiently different from its ancient counterpart. The gamble taken by your ancestors has succeeded beyond their projections. You have evolved into something new, something the entities may not recognize as the species they once hunted. However, monitoring will continue. Should entity indicators appear, protocols remain available for reactivation. Jake felt something release in his chest that he hadn't realized he'd been holding. We'll accept those terms, we'll remain vigilant, and we'll continue to be different from what came before. One additional finding, the throne added. Ancient humanity's greatest weakness was isolation. They faced the entities alone. Modern humanity has allies. This factor may prove decisive should threats emerge. Recommendation: strengthen interspecies bonds. Diversity increases survival probability across all calculated scenarios. The expedition fleet remained at the throne for 3 more days, downloading what remained of ancient human knowledge into protected databases. Not weapons, not destructive technology, but understanding. History. Lessons learned through extinction and rebirth. As the horizon prepared to return home, Jake stood on the bridge, watching the throne recede into darkness. Humanity had been ancient once, had ruled galaxies, had faced horrors beyond imagination, and they had made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing to forget everything rather than let evil win. Now humanity was young again, but carrying the wisdom of elders, different but connected to what came before. And this time, they wouldn't face the darkness alone.